elm-app-url is an Elm package that asks the question, does URL parsing really need to be complicated? Let's have a look. This is a fairly typical Elm URL parser for a website with a homepage, an about page, and a blog. There's one thing I don't really like about this, and that's the type annotation. Okay, it's some kind of parser, it's about the page type of this application, one variant per page, but there's also this A. And what's up with this function? I couldn't tell you how this works, and that's even though I've read this very nice but also very, very long blog post about it. A downside of not being comfortable with this type is that if you get compilation errors down here, they can be hard to solve. So I ask myself the question, is there a simpler way? And the answer is yes. The answer is pattern matching on list. If we pattern match on url.path as a list, we can see that if it's empty, we're on the home page. If it's just about, we're on the about page. If it's just blog, we're on the blog page. If it's blog, followed by a dynamic slug, we're on a particular blog post, which can be edited, and we can also be on a blog post comment with a dynamic comment ID, and so on. Quite nice. Now, why couldn't we do this already? Why couldn't I do that pattern match on url.path over here? Well, in the official URL type, path is just a string, whereas in app-url, path is a list of strings. It's split by slash and handling some edge cases you wouldn't want to handle every time. On top of that, if you need query parameters, in the official type, query is just a string. This part is unparsed, whereas in app-url, there is a type called query parameters, and it's a dictionary. This means that if you need to parse query parameters like these, you can just do dictionary lookups in a dictionary, and that's it. These are the core ideas of app-url. No parsers, no custom operators, only list pattern matching, dictionary lookups, and creating values. Things you already know and no new concepts. On top of that, you get this handy app-url type, which you can use for some extra type safety throughout your application. Instead of taking a URL as a string, you can take an app-url. That's not really practical with the official URL type because it's representing a whole URL, but your application probably doesn't care about the domain. An app-url is only the second part of a URL, which does change throughout the application's life. Finally, if you ever had any trouble with percentage escapes in elm-url, then that's just not a thing in app-url. It just works. I've got links to all of these things in the description, as well as a link to this example if you would like to go through it at your own pace. But for now, please install it and try it out, and thank you so much for watching.